Still no mic. Sorry about that. It's not me if I don't come in here muted. So hello, dear. How you doing, Al? It was nice talking to you. I love the stuff you send, so please keep sending it. And I'm a big salty guy. 1 second here. I was messing this up here. I want to put this back in chat just for those who don't see it. Okay. And yeah, because I'm going to be showing our Halloween ones. Not all of them tonight, but maybe the first two. There we go. Thank you. So how's everybody doing? I hope everybody had a good night so far and a good week. And those who were here Friday night, I hope you enjoyed yourself. Give us some time. We're working. We're getting there. We're just trying to iron out some details, make some plans. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's a riot. He is definitely a riot. Well, yeah, like I said, he says the stuff that we're all thinking. That's for sure. I wanted to shave today because I've been cranking out in the yard all day. I didn't realize how bushy I was getting. And I have a neck beard. So, but yeah, he's a hoot. I'm sorry, I'm just making sure everything's running right. I had a few glitches when I got logged in and everything. I just want to make sure everything's running smooth. I got all new cable. We have a new cable company now, Al, called BreezeLine. And it's all internet. The television and everything. And man, my dad's loving it. And not only did I get, a modem with Wi-Fi all hooked up with it and everything, but they also give you a power booster. So it's like I was able to hook them. Now I'm on a line. Now I'm on an Ethernet. So that makes it nice. Gives me a little extra boost. Usually I don't have too much problem, but I know you guys, this is what you guys need up there. But what's funny is they're based out of Canada. So I wonder if they're one of the ones scamming you. So far, it's been real good here, but there's a lot of regulations. So, keep them in check. And Spectrum hadn't had competition in years. So it'll be hilarious to see how that works. So far, we haven't had a problem. Now, Giles had a problem with it hooking up to a Samsung television. I had no problems. Dad had no problems. But he figured it out and just hooked it up with an Ethernet. Now you sound like me. I always eat a bowl of cereal. Hey, Chris. I always eat a bowl of cereal before I go to bed. About an hour before I go to bed. I do my workout. And I don't even think they know I go outside and do my Tai Chi. And I come in. I kind of check everything. Do walk through. Give me a bowl of cereal. Eat a bowl of cereal. Then I'll sit back and either read or watch YouTube or fiddle around depending on what my body's letting me do. But yeah, you got to go get that bowl of cereal. What are you going to have? Cocoa Puffs? Fruit Loops? So how you doing, Chris? You having a good night? Good week? We're going to do the Halloween ones this week. I'm going to maybe do 2, depending on how long they are from last year. Get everybody in the mood for new ones. So watch anything good lately? And all your series are back, right? Just cooked a steak. I wondered where you disappeared to. Sharing with the dog. Mini wheats. Oh, I love those. I have those outside. That's probably what I'll eat tonight. I don't usually have sugary cereals. I'm a kid. I'm just a kid. Been watching the riots all day. Yeah, the Kings march. Yeah, well, we won't get too deep in that because it's not really what this channel is. But I know what you're talking about, Chris. I watched some of them earlier. It's just a goof. I'm telling you, man. Forgive me, I met you. Like I said, I've been working in the yard all day. And I did a lot more than I thought. Yeah, I almost had to take 2 showers. Mini wheats are good. They got sugar on them, unless you get the ones without the sugar on them. Have you ever tried the chocolate ones? Those were kind of weird. That's like the chocolate Tony the Tigers. They sucked. Good Boy is good. Everybody's saying it is really good. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm going to have to watch it. I think John's watching. He's not horror he's not into horror. So I definitely want to check that out. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. Chris Stuckman movie is coming out here soon. I want to go see that. Not the pure sugar cereals. Oh, okay. So do you add a little sugar to those when you get a bowl, even though it's got sugar or frosting on top? Yeah, I don't have coffee. I have sugar and coffee. Not as much as used to. People would freak out because in my younger days, man. And you wonder why you're just in motion 24 hours a day. So no, that was way before this came along. I'm with you, Chris. Yeah, I like my Cocoa Puffs. I like my Tony the Tigers. I like my Fruit Loops. I like the Fruit Loops with marshmallows. Yeah. I'm going to go get my Halloweenies. Already had a bowl, a box of blueberry, I believe. And I pooped blue for days. No, just kidding. But yeah, and I was, Mom and Dad were pretty. Well, my dad worked for Hostess. So I was kind of weaned on Ho-Hos and Twinkies. So the sugary stuff had always been in my life. Yeah, my son loves Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And see, he doesn't eat. I don't. How many people here put milk in their cereal? Al, do you put milk in your cereal? Chris, do you? He doesn't do that. He drinks a glass of milk on the side. It's usually chocolate milk. And then he'll eat a dry bowl of cereal. It's like, dude, I didn't raise you that way. Yes, you put your milk on your cereal. Do you, Al, or do you not? I don't know too many people that do that drink the milk on the side. I drink the milk at the end of the bowl. And I think that the gritty stuff at the bottom is always the best. I know a guy used to freak out. He'd pour a box, and if it was empty, all the crumbs come out. He would have to out. And I'm like, dude, that's the best part of the cereal. Heck, if you got ice cream, pour that over the ice cream. That was another thing. We used to have, Dad would bring home those Suzy Q's. And he'd take one and put it in a bowl and just throw a couple scoops of ice cream on it. I used to say what in the Cinnamon Toast when referred to something crazy. Yes, I use milk. Okay. Cinnamon Toast. What the Cinnamon Toast? I like that. I have to remember. I had Count Chocolate earlier. Bought the 3-pack box that has all 3 monster soup. Oh, Frankenberry, Blueberry, and Count Chocula. Now they have a girl. And they had one out last year. I don't know if they're going to do it again this year. Maybe it didn't sell. It was kind of weird. I mean, they have to, I guess. But I think it was kind of like a mix of them all. And then they had a mummy one, too. But I don't think they went because I didn't see them on the shelves this year. At least not yet. Just trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody. And we'll start the videos in about 15 minutes. I usually start to upload around 12:25, 12:30. It's always nice to let everybody come in and gab it up. Yeah, Camilla Creeper. That's it. It's a caramel apple. Oh, okay. There's a cinnamon toast cereal meme to go along with it. Is there? There is. I've seen a lot of memes. I don't remember that. I'll have to see if I can pull that up. If you find it, send it to me. That's cool. I like that. Oh, cinnamon toast. That's hilarious. I've been trying not to cuss anymore, so maybe I'll start using phrases like that. I used to get mad and do the Charlie Brown thing in front of the kids. And it'd drive them nuts. I think my partner just got me that, Chris. It's green, right? It probably is if it's well, maybe caramel apple. Yeah, I would think it might be green. Yeah. Yes, it is. Smithfield sells Mike's hot honey bacon. Oh, really? I'll have to let my son know. Man, I went and got a meat packer about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. We've been chowing it down. You have to get my hair. I washed and I can't do a thing with it. And I'm just letting it go. I'm done. Anyways, man, I got like 6 pounds of bacon. I mean, these things were huge. Like 3 were thin cut and the other 3 were thick cut. Good stuff. Got 9 pork chops. No, it was like 12 pork chops. I mean, it was a crap load of pork chops. I have to go back and recount. 2 huge things of hamburger, the roast, and I paid less than $200. I was impressed, and it's a butcher I've been going to for years. One of the best packs I ever bought. The smell of it reminds me of those caramel candy pop. Oh yeah. Kraft sells hot honey mac and cheese now. Also good. Oh really? I don't know. Have you seen their processing plant for macaroni for Kraft's macaroni and cheese? It's gotten in trouble a couple times. Well, hello there, Miss Fixin' Dough. No, we haven't sent your package out. My dad has had a busy last couple of weeks, just so you folks know. That's why I've been in and out. There's a lot going on with the old man. He's good. He's having some issues, but he's good. And I've had to be a little more attentive to him. And we've been at the doctors a lot. But he's good and he's hanging tough. But yeah, we just had to put everything on hold. But we got him and we're going to get him out to you. I just want you to know that, okay? But yeah, he's 92 years old. He's frisky. But I've been waiting for you to pop in so I can tell you. Because we didn't forget you. It's good to see everybody. Yeah, we're going to get cranking here in a little bit. I hope everybody that was here Friday night really did, and people who may be watching. If you were here Friday night, I really hope you had a good time. We will get better at this. We'll get to the point where maybe we're as close to Wayne and Michelle as possible. And we love those folks. And if you haven't seen them, go check out Wayne and Michelle. Michigan UFO encounters. UFO sightings and paranormal encounters. There we go. I'll get it right. Good people. But anyways, yeah. So those who don't know or are just coming in, if you didn't see my scroll earlier, we're going to do last year's 7 nights of Halloween up until Halloween. We'll probably plow through them pretty quick, and kind of juice you up and get you ready for Gemma's this year's, which she's working on now and should be starting here shortly. We'll do part 1, then if we got time, or if they're not too long, we'll do part 2. Wanted to be here, but didn't wake up in time. Hey, that happens, huh? I'm not here, just so folks know. On the Fridays that we stream, I don't stream on Wednesday. It just gives me a break. But if she decides to start doing every Friday, even for an hour and a half, I'll go back to doing them every Wednesday. I did a little early. The last time I did it, I went on a little earlier than normal, but I was dealing with pop stuff. Yeah, we had pork chops tonight, actually. Latro. The son's not a pork chop guy, but he cooked out. They were awesome. Yeah, it was a good dinner. He actually made dinner well because basically by the time he walked in, I was almost passed out in this chair because I literally just sat down, sitting in a pair of shorts. I was soaked. It got pretty toasty here today. But I think it got kind of humid. Now we have storms rolling in. That should be here sometime tonight. Chris, you may see the storms before us. Hopefully when I get my leg Monday, I'll be walking in a month or two. Oh, yeah. Heck yeah, Chris. All right. That's good. Have you talked, are you, is it, I know they make them special, right? For each person. I mean, you get fitted like anything else. That's good because I've got a friend that's got a fake arm, and you can't even tell it's fake anymore. It's neat. I'm impressed. It almost looks like Campbell in Evil Dead. It's pretty nice. Yeah, he paid big bucks. Well, the insurance covered everything in the military. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, I wish you the best of luck with it, dude. Just, I heard it's a long ride. So, just be patient with yourself. You'll get used to it. A lot of people say you can get used to it real fast depending on how you handle it. So, I'm sure it's going to feel odd at first. But that's great. I'm happy for you, dude. Yeah, I am. That's awesome news. Anybody else got anything exciting going on? Because that's good news. That makes me happy. You get sleeves for them with anything. Yeah, you want on them. Oh, cool. Hey, Jared, how you doing, bud? And blessings to you, my good man. Well, you have a good night and have a pleasant one. Have a wonderful one. Have a good Sunday. I don't know where you're at. I know right now most of it's pretty much left, pretty much the mid-America storm. So it's moving on. You have a good night, sir. And I appreciate you stopping in. Thanks so much. Yeah, so make sure you folks hit those thumbs up. I appreciate it. Gemma appreciates it. And I'll start to upload the first one here in about 12:30 or so. Everybody seems to be having a good time. So I'm all into talking for right now. But it is Gemma's replay. So I should. Doesn't mean to stop. The talking doesn't have to stop. Oklahoma Ozarks in the woods, yeah. I know we're supposed to get some good rain starting about, they're saying 4 or 5, but I've been watching it. It might be a little sooner than that. Have you guys got anything down there, Chris, lately? In rain? When I was cutting the grass earlier, I had mulch leaves, blue leaves, mulch leaves. Cut the grass. I was cleaning flower beds out while I was doing that. And I was told to stop. I was finished trying to get into the rest of the flower beds. Now it's going to rain on me. But that's all right. I'll take a break tomorrow. Work inside. Always wanted to go to the Ozarks. So I've been to Colorado, around, all the states around me. Welcome. Oh, that's right. It does. I got to get Giles to get down there and get everything of mine turned back on. So I pay for some streaming services and he pays for some streaming services. No rain yet. We got, like I said earlier today when I was cutting the grass, it was like a real fine sprinkle for like a half hour. It felt good. Then it's gone. I'll send him photos. Cool. Now the memes. Forgive me. I gotta look. She sends me great stuff. Ah, there it is. Okay, I'll copy and paste those. Oh, hell yeah. Thank you so much. Cinnamon roast tea. Toast. You have to figure me. You guys know I can't talk the best. 78 cents. Cool breeze. Thank you, dear. No, I think we're proceeding. Let me go look real quick before we get busy. I want to see myself. been trying to keep a close eye on it because it looks like a lot of rain for us here, at least. I guess the wind's supposed to get pretty wicked too. Yeah, they already got the wind advisory out now. Air quality, of course, is poor. And yeah, I'd say probably you're going to get first. And my guess would probably be, I never go by their clock on the ones I look because sometimes they move a little faster and these are kind of delayed. But I'm saying you're probably going to start seeing rain probably around 1 or 2, maybe 3 o'clock, and then we'll probably get it not much after you. It's coming right at you too. Big red and yellow and green blob. So that's your weather update. Anybody else want to know what their weather is while I'm at it? The Jersey's getting kind of spotty rain. Let's see. I'm not a licensed weathercaster, so take it for what it's worth. You guys down south are getting around Monroe, just above Jackson. Memphis just got it. It's heading toward Chattanooga in Alabama. There's some nice little clusters down at the bottom around the American Gulf, the Gulf of the USA, whatever you want to call it. The East Coast looks pretty dry. So that's your weather update for now. Canada, I don't want to tell you. Snow. No, I don't have no idea. Wait, it won't show me. Come here. Back out. Well, you guys are actually getting a little bit of rain. I don't know about where about everybody's at. No, you guys are actually pretty dry. Little spotty stuff here and there. Is it raining there, Al? Need to refresh YouTube? Oh, I hate when you have to do that. But there's your weathercast. The East Coast looked pretty good too. Up around you, Vixen, looked pretty nice. It's raining here too. Oh, it is raining there? Oh, that's right. I was just up around your area there. The Texas of Canada. But yeah, let me get this lined up and ready to rock and roll real quick. Like I said, this is part 1 of last year's 7 Nights of Halloween. This is the origins of Halloween. And it's 1 year ago today. Actually, October 25th. No dokies. So let's do this. Here in a minute. It's all ready to go. I just got to line it up. Did I see your comment? They just announced that Elektra and Venom will be in Daredevil season. Oh, interesting. I wonder who's going to play Elektra. Is she going to come out of the woodwork to play Elektra, or are they going to get somebody new? Now, I just saw. Thank you, Chris. No, I did not know that. I'm surprised Jaws hasn't told me yet. Yeah, he usually keeps me up on date on all that. Maybe he hasn't seen yet. That's interesting. Huh. I wonder if they could. I hope they don't make him Venom kind of cheap. I mean, actors from the Netflix version. I never watched it. Is that who's going to play it? I must have missed that one because Jock keeps saying, "Don't you remember?" And I don't remember. Was she in Jessie, that one show? Girl. She wasn't with Nicolas Cage. Was she in Nicolas Cage or Daredevil? Was she in Daredevil? I don't remember. See, I've got to go back down and watch them all. Clear, but on the cool side. Yeah, you guys will be a little cooler. They're supposed to heat back up. We're also actually, Vixen, from after our rain tonight and tomorrow, we're supposed to get pretty good downpour. It's supposed to get really cool here too for a while. We've been nice. We hit 80, I think we hit 82, 83, so we hit our record today. It was humid. Toward the end, it was weird because it didn't get real humid until the almost end of the night here. And when I was finishing up, that's when I really noticed I was sweating. And it's nice out there because the sun's down. But, man, that sun was hot. They got a lot of the stuff today with the changing of the season. Now most of my yard, except for the front, most of my backyard's in the shade now. So it's like, it makes it nice. I only have one corner of sun. But yeah, it's supposed to be chilly here. I guess you guys are supposed to stay like that pretty much here on out. I think we heat up maybe one or two more times and then we're supposed to be done. But this weather's been nuts. That I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it. I don't even know who she was. Oh, thank you, Chris. Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist. Just all had individual series. Yeah, I know that. I remember that. I watched Daredevil. I watched some of Luke Cage. I started to watch Iron Fist, but I was kind of pissed off because wasn't a big fan of it. And I loved Iron Fist as the comic book. That's just me, though. Jessica Jones, I watched a little bit of it, and I didn't think it was that bad. But no, I was definitely hooked on Daredevil. And it got chilly pretty quick. I have a dehumidifier in my bedroom. That helps so much. It's a small little machine. Oh, yeah, sometimes they don't take much. If you get a good one, they'll do the job really nice. I never watched sports, but for some reason caught the last half. If the Bengals versus Steelers. Oh, yeah, the Bengals won. Yeah. They're all coming back in there. Oh, yeah, I knew some of them were. I wasn't sure who all were coming back, but that's good. I did like that run. So does that mean the Punisher's coming back too? Because Josh said he was. That was one thing he did say, that he was pretty sure, he's going to be in it. I loved him. He did a great job playing. But yeah, the Steelers won that. And yeah, I heard it was a really good game. I'm a Browns guy. I don't know why, but I am. I used to be a Minnesota. I started off with the Steelers because I kind of like Terry Bradshaw. They were a bunch of bruisers anyways, dirty players. So I just loved watching them play. Yes, he's even getting his yeah, that's what I heard too, Chris, that he was going to get his own miniseries, which is good. And then I kind of fell in love with the Vikings because it's part of my heritage. And then a friend of mine that I grew up with, his dad, when Mardell was still a coach, was on the board of trustees. So every so often he would take me to the games, the 50-yard line, right smack in perfect seats, right smack in the middle. One year we got stuck up. The last time I went with him, it was during the Blizzard Bowl when Rich Jigger kicked the field goal and everybody said he missed it, and then they replayed it and it turned out he made it, and they all had to come back out on the field, and they ended up tying the game. That was a crazy game too, and it was cold. All of it ties in. Yeah, that's what I heard. That I did know, Chris. I knew a lot of stuff was that they were doing there was going to be tied into the new Spider-Man. They're trying to make everything cohesive, right? Is what I understood. That's why they kind of brought Venom in. Now, Morbius was an interesting movie. I didn't no wonder why people made fun of that movie. And it could have been so good. Yeah, Giles is the Marvel guy. I'm the DC guy. But I do keep up because there were some Marvel guys. I like the older 70s stuff. Some of the crazy stuff that they were doing at the time, like Doctor Strange, Nick Fury. I liked Iron Man, of course. And then I was a big Iron Fist, the Defenders. But see, I was also big time in DC. You know, my dad, most of his comics were DC. Yeah, I heard in Midnight Suns, that's what I heard too. I wonder if he's going to play Morbius. I mean, he didn't do a bad job. That movie could have been so much better. So what's the deal with the Blade? Do you know, before we get this upload running, what's the deal with Blade? Is it going to be made or not? I heard it was canceled. Then I was heard it was going to go again. Then I heard it was canceled. Why did they just bring Wesley Snipes back? Let him do like one big wahoo. No, oh, thank you. I mean, there was parts in that movie that he was actually I liked. But no, they could have picked a better. Yeah, they could have definitely picked a better Morbius. There's no doubt about that. There was plenty of people out there, a lot better, that would have been a lot better playing that part. That's for sure. Yeah. We're talking comic book movies. Yes, they just now working on Blade. Are they? Okay. I'm telling you, I still like, even though the first one's great and the other ones are I still enjoy them. They're still good popcorn movies. I still have them. I still watch them. I didn't like those other ones. There's this little mini series or whatever they did. Those were kind of just didn't bring it home for me like Wesley did. He was just a bad bud, man. He was perfect for that role. Midnight Suns should be good. I'm actually excited about that. That's like they're supposed to make a Justice League Dark. Let's see if it happens. Okay, let me get this baby set up and we'll get this rolling because it is Gemma's Replays. We got it up. Let me get the sharing going. Get her on full screen. Put me down in the corner where I belong. Okay, down here. There we go. Whoops. Let's do the full screen. It looks so much better. There we go. There we go. Yeah, it did. That comic book and that movie did. Yeah, it did. And then they tried to sue him over, for years about the copy. I mean, they should have just went with it in the first place. That first one is excellent. Everybody loves, everybody I know loves that first movie and don't mind the other two. Though that last one could have been so much better. Okay, let's see if we got everything going here. It looks good. Folks, I'm going to go ahead and start this. I'm going to shut my mic off. My mic will be on and off because I like to say verbally hi to people as they come in. Please sit back and enjoy. Keep chatting. Ladies, gentlemen, here's the first one of the 7 nights of last year, 7 nights of Halloween, part 1. And I think this one's the, oops. Hold on. The Origins of Halloween, which we all pretty much should know now. Okay, and go.
What is up, my beautiful gemstones? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just welcome.
Issues, okay?
My name is Gemma Jade, but today, for the kickoff to the 7 Nights of Halloween special that I'm doing here on this channel, we are going to be discussing Halloween Origins. To kick off our countdown to this Halloween special, I thought it would be cool to talk about Halloween generally, the history of it, and whatever else comes to mind regarding everyone's most favoriteest night of the year during spooky season. There's no doubt that, regardless of whether or not you celebrate Halloween, the night of October 31st is by far the most chillingly atmospheric night of the entire year. All across the world, kids and sometimes even adults dress up as all sorts of creatures, creepy crawlies, their favorite comic book movie characters, their favorite movie characters, and so much more. And they go out into the world hoping to get a treat instead of a trick from friends, neighbors, and strangers in their communities. The treat they're looking for, of course, at least in most cases, is candy. It's all done in good fun and with good humor, and there are unspoken rules in all neighborhoods and communities that most people do their best to abide by. Where I come from, it's only acceptable to be out trick-or-treating before 7 p.m. if you have or are a very small child And if the porch light isn't on, or if there isn't some type of decoration up on the house, you pass by it with the understanding that, for whatever reason, the people in that home are not participating in Halloween that year, and that they aren't passing out candy. However, in past centuries, Halloween was anything but a night where you would want to be out having the time of your life and or roaming the streets at nighttime. In fact, it was just the opposite. And long before Halloween as we know it existed, there was, of course, All Hallows Eve. All Hallows Eve was inexplicably and for whatever reason linked to the resurfacing of the dead wherever it was they were said to be coming from. People were scared. They definitely weren't in a joking and joyful, let's dress up and hit the town type of mood. There wasn't even any candy in sight back then, and if there was, no one was celebrating anything by eating or passing any of it out. So it wasn't until the early part of the 16th century that the term All Hallows Eve started being used anyway. And while I know many people think that Halloween is a pagan holiday and has nothing at all to do with Christianity, there's another group of people who believe that it actually has its roots firmly planted in the domain of Christianity and its teachings. So, which is right? All Hallows Eve is in direct association with what? What is it the eve of? Well, it's said that it's the eve of November 1st, All Saints' Day, which is a very Christian holiday. And some people believe that proves that the holiday has its roots firmly planted in the domain of Christianity and its teaching. I am here today to tell you that while Christianity is certainly responsible, believe it or not, for the model of Halloween that we all have today, the roots of it date way further back than that, and back to a time when, you guessed it, paganism actually ruled. It is not a Christian holiday, except Christianity is responsible for the way we celebrate now. In fact, it wasn't until the 8th century when Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as All Saints' Day and started incorporating some of the ancient traditions of the festival of Samhain. Of course, it's only natural that due to the fog of the time and the inability to document anything beyond writing it down on paper that could eventually evaporate into nothing, a lot of the earliest celebrations of Halloween have been lost. What we do know played a large role in the development of our modern-day holiday was the Gaelic festival of Samhain. Samhain was celebrated by people in Ireland, Scotland, Brittany, and Wales from at least as far back as the 10th century. In fact, they all celebrated their new year on the 1st of November. That's what it's the eve of. The night before the new year, according to their beliefs and traditions, was a night when the boundary was most blurred, that being the boundary between the realms of the living and the dead. And I'm sure most of you know what the quote-unquote veil it means, as that's what we have come to refer to it as. And it is a term that's very much overused, in my opinion, almost to an annoying degree nowadays. It would begin on the 31st and last a full 24 hours, and it was really used to mark the beginning of the darker months that laid ahead and the inevitable ice cold and lean winter months. The winter back then was a literal season of death because so many people wouldn't come out the other side into spring alive. Also, the concept of the dead returning was a lot different back then too than that which we see in our modern times and in the movies and things like that. In addition to causing general mischief and damaging the season's crops, the Celts thought that the otherworldly spirits having returned to our earthly realm also made it easier for the Druids, who were the Celtic priests, to be able to more accurately predict the future. Like they were bringing knowledge over from the other side. These people were completely and totally dependent on the natural world. And so they relied on those predictions to provide them with a sense of comfort and safety during the long, cold, and brutally harsh winter ahead of them each year. During the celebration, the Celts wore costumes that typically consisted of animal heads or skins, and they would entertain one another by trying to tell each other's fortunes. When the celebration was over, they would go home and relight the fires of their hearths, which they would have extinguished earlier that same evening. But they would use the fire from the sacred bonfire because they thought that it would help protect them during those winter months. For the Gaels, it was a time for people to invite the souls of their loved ones into their homes for celebration and a hearty feast. While it was done with them having the desire to see their departed loved ones again, it was also done a little bit out of fear too. Obviously, spirits don't eat as humans do. And so it was more of a time of hope for the grieving members of the family to feel closer to those they loved who went before them, that they would be with them that entire day and join in however they could in the festivities. It was also done as a symbol of welcoming. Something else I think we should discuss here, though, is that Samhain was basically an open invitation for all friendly spirits to come and roam freely with the living. Gaelic teachings and folklore made it very clear that some of the souls of the dead that took the people up on those invitations were the furthest thing from friendly you could get. So, how did the Gaels and everyone else avoid being noticed by the spirits of those with whom maybe they didn't have the best and most pleasant relationship with when they were living? Or, in other cases, how did they make sure that the spirits of the malignant dead didn't recognize the living in general so as not to try to jump into their bodies or whatever else the people back then thought lower vibrational or evil, as they would have called it, spirits did? Well, many of the Gaels elected to wear costumes in order to fool the deceased lurking among them. It's quite brilliant. They would camouflage themselves as the very creatures of the night that they were fearful would be hunting them down. They thought it helped them to avoid the detection of the predatory souls of the dear departed. However, by AD 43, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of Celtic territory, and throughout the course of the almost 400 years that they ruled over the Celtic lands, two festivals of Roman origins were combined with the ancient Celt festival of Samhain, and that's another step closer to where we are today. One of the Roman festivals that it was combined with was called Feralia, which was a day sometime in late October, but not necessarily on the 31st, when the Romans would pay homage to their deceased loved ones and ancestors. It's also said that it was a basic commemoration of the passing of the dead in general. The second Roman festival was to honor the goddess Pomona, the goddess of fruit and trees. The symbol of Pomona is the apple, and the incorporation of this celebration of that particular goddess at the time of Samhain explains the tradition of bobbing for apples. On May 13th, AD 609, Pope Boniface IV dedicated the Pantheon in Rome in honor of all Christian martyrs, and the Catholic feast of All Martyrs' Day was established in the Western Church at that time. As I already mentioned, it was then that Pope Gregory III expanded the festival to include all saints as well as all martyrs, and he also moved observance from the 13th of May, for whatever reason, to the 1st of November. By the 9th century, the influence of Christianity had spread into the Celtic lands, where it gradually blended with and supplanted older Celtic rites. In AD 1000, the Church made November 2nd All Souls' Day, a day to honor the dead. It's widely believed by historians today that the church was attempting to replace the Celtic Festival of the Dead with a related church-sanctioned holiday. All Souls' Day was celebrated similarly to Samhain, with big bonfires, parades, and dressing up in costumes as saints, angels, and even devils. The All Saints' Day celebration was also called All Hallows or All Hallowmass, from Middle English Al Hallowmass, meaning All Saints' Day. I don't know how to pronounce the name of that language. And the night before it, the traditional night of Samhain in the Celtic religion began to be called All Hallows' Eve and eventually Halloween. In colonial America, the celebration of Halloween was extremely limited due to the rigid Protestant belief systems of most of the colonists that were there. Halloween back then was most commonly celebrated in Maryland, as well as a couple of other southern states, but really nowhere else in the United States at that time, as the beliefs and customs of different European ethnic groups and the American Indians meshed. A distinctly American version of Halloween began to emerge. The first celebrations included play parties, which were public events held to celebrate the harvest. Neighbors would share stories of the dead, tell each other's fortunes, and sing and dance. Colonial Halloween festivities also featured the telling of ghost stories and mischief-making of all kinds. By the middle of the 19th century, annual autumn festivals were common, but Halloween was not yet celebrated everywhere in the country. In the second half of the 19th century, America was flooded with new immigrants. These new immigrants, especially the millions of Irish fleeing the Irish potato famine, helped to popularize the celebration of Halloween nationally. But what about trick-or-treating? Borrowing from European traditions, Americans began to dress up in costumes and go house to house asking for food or money, a practice that eventually became today's trick-or-treat tradition. There was actually a time when it was referred to as souling, and sometimes where I'm from, it's simply called Halloweening. At that time, though, there were young women who believed that on Halloween they could divine the name or appearance of their future husband by doing tricks with yarn, apple parings, or mirrors. In the late 1800s, there was a move in America to mold Halloween into a holiday more about community and neighborly get-togethers than about ghosts, pranks, and witchcraft. At the turn of the century, Halloween focused on games, food of the season, and festive costumes. This is also around the time when parents were encouraged by newspapers and community leaders to take anything frightening or grotesque out of Halloween celebrations. Because of these efforts, Halloween lost most of its superstitious and religious overtones by the beginning of the 20th century. By the 1920s and 1930s, Halloween had become a secular but community-centered holiday with parades and town-wide Halloween parties as the featured entertainment. Despite the best efforts of many schools and communities, vandalism began to plague some celebrations in many communities during this time. By the 1950s, town leaders had successfully limited vandalism, and Halloween had evolved into a holiday directly, mainly aimed at the young. Due to the high numbers of young children during the 50s baby boom, parties moved from town civic centers into the classroom or home where they could be more easily accommodated, meaning the children. Between 1920 and 1950, the centuries-old practice of trick-or-treating also was revived. Trick-or-treating was a relatively inexpensive way for an entire community to share the Halloween celebration together. In theory, families could also prevent tricks being played on them by providing the neighborhood children with small treats. So with that, a new American tradition was born, and it has continued to grow. Today, Americans spend an estimated $6 billion on Halloween annually, making it the country's second largest commercial holiday after Christmas. I'm not surprised at that number with how expensive costumes are. The American Halloween tradition of trick-or-treating probably dates back to the early All Souls parades in England. During the festivities, poor citizens would beg for food, and families would give them pastries called soul cakes in return for their promise to pray for the family's dead relatives. The distribution of soul cakes was encouraged by the church as a way to replace the ancient practice of leaving food and wine out for roaming spirits. This is where the practice I mentioned earlier, which was referred to as going a-souling or souling, was eventually taken up by children who would visit the houses in their neighborhood and be given ale, food, and money. On Halloween, when it was believed that ghosts came back to the earthly world, people thought that they would encounter ghosts if they left their home. To avoid being recognized by these ghosts, people would wear masks when they left their homes after dark so that the ghosts would mistake them for their fellow spirits. They obviously knew nothing of energy, but it ended up being a really fun holiday, right? On Halloween, in order to keep ghosts away from their houses, people would place bowls of food outside of their homes to appease the ghosts and prevent them from attempting to enter. Halloween has always been a holiday filled with mystery, magic, and superstition. It began as a Celtic end-of-summer festival during which people felt especially close to deceased relatives, loved ones, and friends. For these friendly spirits, they set places at the dinner table, left treats on doorsteps and along the side of the road, and lit candles to help loved ones find their way back to the spirit world. Today's Halloween ghosts are often depicted as more fearsome and malevolent, and our customs and superstitions are a lot scarier too. In my opinion, and the opinion of most people who studied this, we avoid crossing paths with black cats, afraid that they might bring us bad luck. This idea has its roots in the Middle Ages, when many people believed that witches avoided detection by turning themselves into black cats. We try not to walk under ladders for the same reason. This is to avoid bad luck as well, and that superstition may have come from the ancient Egyptians, who believed that triangles were sacred. It also may have something to do with the fact that walking under a leaning ladder tends to be fairly unsafe, and there were probably a lot of accidents that occurred because people were doing this, and it ended up becoming an unlucky thing. And around Halloween especially, we do try to avoid breaking mirrors, stepping on cracks in the road, or spilling salt. I try to avoid doing these things all year long. I had no idea that a lot of people only avoid these things on Halloween. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments. Before we end, let's talk about some lesser known rituals of Halloween from decades and centuries past. What about the traditions and things aside from dressing up and trick-or-treating? The traditions that seem to have been completely lost to time and history. Many of the rituals and traditions that I'm going to briefly mention now focus on the living and on the future, instead of on the deceased and the past. In particular, many had to do with helping young women identify their future husbands and reassuring them that they would someday, with luck or possibly by next Halloween, be married. In 18th century Ireland, a matchmaking cook might bury a ring in her mashed potatoes on Halloween night, hoping to bring true love to the diner who found it. In Scotland, fortune tellers recommended that an eligible young woman name a hazelnut for each of her suitors and then toss the nuts into the fireplace. The nut that burned to ashes rather than popping or exploding, the story went, represented the girl's future husband, and then she would know his name. In some versions of this legend, the opposite was true. The nut that burned away symbolized a love that would not last. Another tale had it that if a young woman ate a sugary concoction made out of walnuts, hazelnuts, and nutmeg before bed on Halloween night, she would dream about her future husband. Young women tossed apple peels over their shoulders, hoping that the peels would fall on the floor in the shape of their future husband's initials, tried to learn about their futures by peering at egg yolks floating in a bowl of water, and stood in front of mirrors in darkened rooms, holding candles and looking over their shoulders for their husbands' faces. Other rituals were a little more competitive. At some Halloween parties, the first guest to find a burr on a chestnut hunt would be the first to marry. At others, the first successful apple bobber would be the first down the aisle. Of course, whether you're asking for romantic advice or trying to avoid 7 years of bad luck, each one of these Halloween superstitions relies on the goodwill of the very same spirits whose presence the early Celts felt so keenly. Personally, Halloween is a very, very busy time of year for me, not only as a mom, but as a paranormal nonfiction author, a medium paranormalist, and of course, YouTube creator in the paranormal community. But I wanted to just take some time and go through the history of so many people's favorite holiday just for some fun and because it sounded very interesting to me. Many families, just like with Christmas and Thanksgiving, have their very own rituals and traditions for the holiday and, of course, their very own beliefs. As always, I say, as long as it's all in good fun and it isn't hurting anyone, to each his own and live your own life. I may talk some more, I'm not sure yet, about the types of things we shouldn't be doing on Halloween or at any other time of the year, like last year when we discussed why we shouldn't be messing with Ouija boards and other divining tools. But for the most part, the scripts I wrote for this 7 nights of Halloween have to do with demonic possession, demonic activity, demonic demons. That's all I have for you today, guys. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed hanging out with me, and if you enjoyed hanging out with one another in the premiere. Now, this is much shorter than my normal videos, but this is 7 extra videos that I am doing this week so that you guys can see this face every single night leading up to the day after Halloween. Because it's such a busy season for me, I was a week behind in my head and didn't get started soon enough. Typical Gemma, I know. Be kind to each other, guys. It doesn't cost anything. Be safe this Halloween. If nobody told you today, I believe in you. You are worth it. You can do it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't. Be kind to yourselves and never accept anything less than others being kind to you. Always go in grace. Smile at a stranger, and happy Halloween.
Bye. Okay. Did you guys want to do another one? I can do part 2. I'll leave it up to you. I know everybody's enjoying the chat right now, so it's good with me either way. What time is it? 1 o'clock, basically. If you guys want to chat for a little bit, that's cool. We can do that. Oh, yes, please. You want another one? Yeah. Our Halloween ones were pretty good last year. So, yeah, I can do another one. I'd be more than happy to. We got to get down to them. Because, of course, I realize if I take them off of her catalog instead of downloading them, she'll get, if I download them, she doesn't get the view for them. But if we watch them on her catalog, she'll get the view for it. So that's the other reason why I like doing these. It kind of gets a lot of people to know her and gives her a chance to get some views. And we'll just go 1 second here. I'm trying to find. That's the only thing about doing it this way. When I was downloading them, it was real easy. Every so often, I'd have an issue. Okay, come on. I know it's not far from where I was just at. There it is. Okay, part 2 is 7 of the 7 Nights Halloween is Amy Stamatatis and her demons. I never could say that girl's last name, so forgive me. So we'll go ahead and do that one. Hold on, let me get it set up. Hello. Let me go back. Okay. Take a little break and then I'll get started here in a minute. Give me a chance to open my eyeballs. Stare at the bright white screen. I hope everybody's having a good night. Loving the conversation. I appreciate it. And I guess I'll go ahead and start this. And you guys can just keep chatting. I hope everybody's having a good time, enjoying it. And we'll start the second one. I think, how long was it? It's 12 minutes. It's a short one, so we'll go ahead and enjoy it. Let's do it. Let me get her blown up here and get her. Oh, I did it too soon. Got to share it. Trying to rush. Let's see. Right there it is. Share. Make big. Okay. And when you guys are ready, I'll get it started. Let me get me down to the bottom here. Let's do this. There it is. Okay. Let's do this.
What is up, my beautiful gemstones? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just welcome. My name is Gemma Jade, and tonight, for the second night of our 7 nights of Halloween, we are going to be discussing Amy Stamatis and her demons. Amy Stamatis was living a perfectly normal life in Little Rock, Arkansas, and for her entire life, there didn't seem to have been anything strange or particularly odd about her. She had a very happy and comfortable family life by all accounts, and she lived with her loving and doting husband, and she loved and was thriving at her job, working as a medfast nurse. All of this and more were the reasons why her loved ones, friends, family, neighbors, and everyone who knew her were shocked, confused, and devastated when one day in November of 2006, Amy went up to a window ledge in the second story of her beautifully manicured suburban home, sat down, and then scooted herself / jumped off to her death out that window. Well, that's what she was aiming for anyway. She was aiming for a quick and painless death. Fortunately for Amy, she survived. Unfortunately for Amy, the fall and repercussions of it were nowhere near quick and painless. It left her spine crushed, severed, and fractured in numerous places, and she was permanently paralyzed.
That background, I have to talk to them.
Now,
let me pause.
When someone jumps.
Okay, this background, that alien, I never did like that alien in the background. He always looks creepy. It just looks creepy. It looks like he's upset. Now I'll start back up.
Just like when they're facing a car that's about to hit them, their body
there goes.
Braces for impact. Their muscles tense up because they see it. Even
that one always cracked me up. That and the other one, that UFO that made her look like she was.
This actually makes the injuries much worse than if, for instance, someone hit you from behind and you didn't know it was coming, or if someone threw or pushed you out of a window or off of a window ledge. Amy's medical examination showed that she had not even a little bit, braced for the impact of her fall, and this was the start of the strange and somewhat sad story of Amy Stamatis and her demons. Her doctors and the local medical community, of course, did everything that they could think of to help her, but the community at large and everyone who knew her were baffled as to why Amy would have done such a thing in the first place. Amy answered everyone's questions by letting them know that she did not try to take her own life at all, but instead had been compelled to do what she did by some dark, demonic forces. According to Amy, it all started several months before the incident. As she was going about her normal day one afternoon, just doing her regular chores at work, a voice broke through her thoughts into her head, meaning there was suddenly a voice there that belonged to someone outside of her, but it was still inside of her head. The voice was demanding, startling in its clarity, and it very loudly and clearly spoke horrible, terrible things into her ear. It was as though someone were there right beside her, loudly whispering the most horrific and vulgar things to the otherwise unassuming, polite, and pleasant young woman. She said the voice would randomly come and go, and it would usually say the most obscene things, and also it would try to compel her to take her own life. Amy also said the entity, or whatever it was, would, quote, put dark thoughts, end quote, into her head. She would sometimes and just as randomly go into a trance-like state where her thoughts would become jumbled and confused that she described as though she were in some sort of walking dream state. Guys, as it usually does, this had all started out of the clear blue sky one day while she was going about her duties after finishing up with one of her patients at the Baptist Health Medical Center in Little Rock, Arkansas. When it had first started, she began to wander around the hospital, not sure of where she was or why she was there, and eventually she was sent home for the day to get some rest. It was inexplicable, and it obviously scared her and those around her very much. Though, guys, if I'm being honest, I think it was probably more that she thought there was something medically wrong with her, as I highly doubt she was thinking about demons at that point in time. The mental fogs, as she called them, began to increase in frequency, and when they would happen, Amy would suddenly become lost and very confused. She not only didn't know where she was or what she was doing, but she also became unable to walk straight, to do the simplest of chores, and sometimes it was so bad that she forgot her own name. It was as though in those moments her brain had been completely wiped of any and all information, as though she was some sort of living doll in a living nightmare or something. Of course, the bouts of mental confusion that were becoming more and more frequent as the weeks wore on had Amy thinking that she was having some sort of mental breakdown or losing her mind altogether. Why wouldn't she think that? She finally confided in her husband about what was happening, but she swore him to secrecy, and she herself didn't tell anyone else either. She was afraid of both her personal and professional reputations, worried that people would think that she was crazy or something like that. And honestly, guys, I can't blame her. Amy and her husband visited several psychiatric hospitals in the area, but no one could figure out what was wrong with her. Even as these doctors and other medical professionals worked diligently to help her, or to at least figure out what was wrong and going on with her, Amy continued to suffer greatly. Her mental state continued to deteriorate, but the doctors would just tell her to go home and get some rest. They were eventually convinced it was stress related and that there was nothing actually wrong with her. It was all in her mind due to overworking and overstressing. Amy's behavior became very, very odd and extremely erratic, with her often blurting out obscene and inappropriate things and flying into random fits of extreme rage and aggression. She would shout and curse at her family and friends, and even her co-workers were not immune to the abuse. In one particular instance, during a family gathering, Amy decided to strip off all of her clothes and start wildly running around naked and ranting and raving. This was not like her. She was described as quiet, mousy, a wallflower, a nice girl. After that crazy incident at the family gathering, she was brought to the Mayo Clinic as a result of that whole ordeal. Located in Minnesota, it was mainly for her to get a second opinion about her mental health and about her mental state. But while she was there, she somehow broke free of the staff, ran to the 8th floor into a window, where she then threatened to jump from it. She suddenly came out of that fit with no memory of what had happened, what she had been saying, doing, or how she got there at all. She didn't know why she was even at the window in the first place. Not long after that happened at the clinic was when she did jump from her own window at home. In light of what happened at the clinic, and armed with all of the information I just gave you after the fact of her eventual jump, the doctors agreed that Amy had been suffering from a very rare condition called porphyria. Porphyria is a chemical imbalance in the brain that causes mental confusion, seizures, and dysfunction of the nervous system. It seemed like they finally had all the answers. I mean, after she was paralyzed, but still, some answers were better than none. However, not everyone was convinced that that was what was going on with Amy Stamati's. While recovering at the hospital after her fateful jump, Amy was visited at the hospital by a mysterious woman named Cindy Lawson, who was a self-professed faith healer. Cindy claimed that she knew what was really going on, and her answer as to what was going on was demonic infestation. She told Amy that she was under attack by demonic forces and that they were trying to eventually possess her. Possession was the end goal. As Cindy explained all of this to Amy, Amy turned to her with a grotesque look on her face and, in a snarling and demonic-sounded voice, a voice that obviously wasn't her own, she said, "Why are you here?" Cindy Lawson later said of the incident, quote, "The Lord spoke to me and told me to go to the hospital to cast the demons out of her. I could feel something churning. I could see the demons. If most people knew it was a demon possession thing, they would seek out that help. But it's hard to convince people that's what's going on," end quote. Lawson had already performed 10 exorcisms throughout her lifetime and her career, and she immediately went about trying to exorcise Amy right there on the spot in her hospital bed. She began by anointing Amy's forehead with oil and issued a prayer and a command for the demonic entities occupying Amy's mind and her energy to leave her immediately and never return. Suddenly, the fog was lifted, Amy's mind was clear, and she felt like her old self again, just like that. I mean, she was paralyzed, but at least mentally she felt like she was the only one inside of her mind again. The voices completely stopped, and so did the episodes of confusion. Like I just said, though, she was still paralyzed. She did not ever regain the ability to walk again, and she's paralyzed to this day. So, this story absolutely begs the question, how could a woman with a seemingly perfect and normal life, and who claimed to have been charmed and happy with everything in her world, suddenly have a breakdown so substantial that she goes through what she went through mentally, then tries to take her own life? Why were there no answers from the medical community? Why, if not demons? The official medical cause of what Amy went through, what happened to her, was basically temporary insanity. Amy herself believes that there was much more to it than that, though. She believes wholeheartedly that something demonic had taken a hold of her. Amy specifically said of it all, quote, "In the medical world, they need to put a name to it. They don't understand because they have never dealt with these types of demons. So how are they going to fight against something that you don't know how to fight, that you don't understand, or that you don't believe exists at all?" As a nurse, I would not have believed this if it didn't happen to me. I'd say that doesn't happen today, which is a lie because I lived it, end quote. So guys, I ask you now, what do you all think? Let me know in the comments below, as always. And now I'm going to tell you my thoughts. Amy worked with people who were sick or dying, mainly the elderly. Sometimes there's something about a person on the brink of death that attracts demonic or lower vibrational entities and or beings. That person could have tried to broker a deal at some point in their lives, or they could have just had some sort of demonic attachment themselves that didn't manifest in the extreme way that it did for Amy. Then she tends to these people, or to the person I'm referring to in this scenario, and the entity attached sees not only fresh meat, but a wonderfully happy, beautiful, and content young soul that's trying her best to be a good person and do some good in the world. That is like a demon's wet dream. That's all I have for you today, guys. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed hanging out with me, if you enjoyed hanging out with each other in the premiere. As many of you noticed, this video is very, very short compared to my usual 30-minute to 45-minute videos. That's because I had 7 extra videos this week. This is the 7 nights of Halloween, and it's just little clips. Some of them will be longer, though, so please watch every single night until Wednesday, November 1st. That is when the last video for the 7 days of Halloween will be airing. I made...
look at full screen. Don't look at my scary face. I think that'll do for tonight. Let me get off of that. Go back to... Where'd he go? Quit. No. There you go. That's probably even better. There we go. I like being in the corner. I don't need a big old screen. I'm talking most of the time in chat anyways. So there we go. Yeah, that case is really interesting. Actually, I read after she had done this, I went and did some research. They claimed it was temporary. The one doctor wanted to claim it was like not insanity, but a psychosis and even temporary schizophrenia. But she was doing some weird stuff. I mean, when you're possessed, you know it. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it try to be happening. I've caught it before it happened with the guy upstairs. I don't know if you guys, a lot of you guys know that story anyways. But, I've dealt with the demon over where I used to live in it. This poor kid, I think if I wouldn't have been living there, he probably would have been another casualty in that building, because a lot of people had died in that. That building was nice, but it was kind of creepy. And it was close to home. I mean, I was in a 5-minute, 10-minute walk from to my mom and dad's. They'll say anything to explain it. Oh, yeah, for sure. The guy I dealt with, the young man that was lived above me. I don't know if you know the story. It's in one of Gemma's replays. Maybe I'll play it for you one time or send it to you which one it's in and listener counters if you haven't heard it. But there was one night he got beat up pretty bad. And he was an ex-addict. And they were blaming his addiction. You slipped up, didn't you? And they kept telling him that. But I was there that night. I mean, this thing, he come downstairs, he had bruises on his face, and he was just sleeping. He had bruises on his chest. He had 3 or 4 big scratch marks down his one arm. He was crying. And this guy, I mean, he was a heavy metal guy. I mean, long hair, did that kind of voice. He was a singer. I'm telling you, man, he was freaking out. And I think if he had stayed, and if we wouldn't have gotten it out of there, thank God I knew a preacher that did the work. And I honestly think he'd have been another casualty. A lot of people died in that building. I was the first tenant back in that building right after they kicked everybody out. I mean, there were overdoses after overdoses in this building. It was bad. There was a guy stabbed his wife, and there was like 4 apartments in a big brick building. At the end of ours was the laundromat. But my apartment, the bottom apartments kind of sat halfway in the ground. So you could literally open my window and touch the front yard. And it was bad. I mean, it was a neat building because you went either down or up when you came in the door. And the apartment across from mine, because I lived in the basement, I called it the basement. That's where, and some Mexican guy, real nice, super nice guy, moved in across the hall, and he actually left because he said he kept hearing people crying in the closet. So he left. That place was messed up. And from what I hear, there's still stuff that goes on over there because I'm still 10 minutes away from it. I lived in a bad house once, rented a room in a basement, and then the basement. You know, it's either the attic or the basement most of the time. Yeah, our upstairs is basically an attic. They converted it into a room. And it's shaped like a coffin. It is literally, the ceiling is literally shaped like a coffin. So if you lay your bed right, you literally feel like you're in a coffin. But yeah, the basement ones. I've had that. The one I lived in was actually really nice. But man, when I saw the place, when they showed me the place before I moved in, because I lived there almost 3 or 4 months, almost 6 months by myself in this big building. And I could hear them working, and there were weird shit was going on after they would leave. I saw some crazy during that time too. Oh, I'm sure you probably did. It would not surprise me. Nothing surprises me anymore. See, this is why I love Halloween. I used to be a big fan of Halloween. But as I got older, because the things I see that follow people, it got harder even as a kid to trick or treat because of the things I was seeing and didn't understand most of it then. And it was like, now, you know, especially as we get closer to Halloween, I'll start showing you guys bruises. I get something comes at me at night. It ain't no wonder I have Tourette's and rocked ever since I was a kid. I wake up with handprints on me, or it looked like somebody burnt me with cigarettes. It's creepy. And it always starts up, probably will start up around, hopefully not this year. I've been trying to protect myself, and I'm trying to keep a low head. Usually starts like the 28th, 29th, and it will last until after, was it Samhain, the day after, or whatever it is. It will last until about the 2nd or 3rd, and then it stops. And I even get lucky because then for a while, I don't see anything following people or anything for a while. And then it starts picking right back up. But these last 2 years, after things have gotten crazy, it's every day now. So when people say they've seen crazy stuff in a place like in a basement or in an older building, it don't surprise me. It's one thing I wish I couldn't see. But yeah. I used to wake up with small little bruises like they were made with fingertips. That's creepy. I always feel more for women because that is creepy as crap. Really like did it look like a child did it? Because that's the one thing I hate. These people, oh, it was a child that died. No. Demons love to use children, boys and girls, to draw you in. That's like the dolls. Why do people keep dolls? I have no idea. Though I couldn't say anything, I had my G.I. Joes. My little brother would swear that my big Jen would walk across the room at night. No, dude. Yeah, I assumed something small. Yeah, I bet it was. Well, could have been, trolls and elves, and you have dolls. Most women do. It's just me. My mom had. She collected a lot of that glass stuff. She had swans and bells, so I got lucky. Though a friend of mine, ex's, her dad and mom collect clowns, the ceramic crown, the little ceramic clowns. Man, there is one wall that's just dedicated to those things, and it's just creepy. I tell them every time I go over there, it's creepy. Oh, the gothic porcelain one. Oh, I've seen those. Those are actually nice dolls. Those are actually pretty nice. I thought about getting Gemma one for Christmas, but I don't know. It might creep the little man out. Though he's pretty cool now, so. Is it one of the big ones? Or did you get one of the ones that actually stand up? I saw one that was really like super tall and almost looked real. I was like, holy crap. Just standing in the corner would freak me out every time I walk in a room. And I don't get scared of anything, but dolls make me nervous. And buildings, especially like stores. When we went to the movie theater, actually, I was freaked out because that place was packed, and I figured, oh God, I'm going to sit here and see nothing but people, things that follow people all over this damn theater. It wasn't bad at all. It was actually kind of nice. Well, everybody was in really good spirits because we were seeing Superman, and Grandpa was with me. When a lot of people found out my dad was 92 years old, he got a standing ovation. Everybody turned around because somebody asked, how old is that guy? That you're making him climb we made him climb all the way up to stop. And we didn't know there was an elevator. And everybody was like, I go, I can't help it. He's 92 years old. We didn't know there wasn't an elevator. Oh, there is an elevator. I have a soft spot for dogs. A lot of women do. I can't find them creaky. They need love too. I have 18-inch one. I saved her from an abuse. Actually. That sounds kind of wild, but it wouldn't surprise me. I remade her and named her Circe after that song by Ghost. Oh, you like Ghost? Those guys are not bad. I had a chance to see them when they were here in Ohio, and I passed on it. Now I kind of wish I'd gone just to see them. But when I was younger, I saw so many bands. That's all we did was go to concerts. Just that one song from them. They have one album. I don't know which one it is. Somebody played it for me a while back ago. And it wasn't bad. I wasn't really into them, but it wasn't bad. They're definitely not what I call an occult band. You know, they come off as cultists, and all that stuff. So I call those cult bands. But some of them, they used to play this one every so often down here. I can't remember the name of the song. See, that shows you how well I don't know them. I just know them by appearance. The first time I think I saw a video of them, he was wearing, I'm not into their makeup. Well, I used to love the Misfits. I've seen them with and without Danzig. But the first time I saw Ghost was when he was wearing the Catholic priest outfit. Well, if you want to call it the anti-Catholic priest outfit, all on his makeup and stuff. It's like, okay, this is interesting. And now we're just going to come out and do it right in public. But now, it's all about the theatrics. We all heard about Ace Frehley, right? I was kind of bummed. I had met Ace Frehley a couple times. Met Ace a couple times. Met Kiss twice. As a band. Won't even jeans. Sorry, but he is. And he was my favorite. But yeah, I was kind of bummed. Ace was a super nice guy. I saw him a couple times up here at the Agora. I've seen him at the Agora. I've seen him at the Palace. And then I saw him over here at Alarosa's. Not long. It was probably about 3 months before I went and saw Dimebag go bye-bye. Because I literally can walk to Alarosa's. I did his makeup one year. Oh, yeah, he was my favorite. When we did, he was my favorite later on. Gina, of course, as a kid was, my brother came home one day when Kiss Alive came out. He goes, here, check this out. And I fell in love with him right away. My little brother was a bigger fan than I was. I still have a lot of the stuff packed away that I had collected. I still have my Kiss comic book. But yeah, and then later on, I appreciated Ace. After I'd met him, all of them a couple times, I appreciated Ace a lot more. Him and Peter were more down to earth, a little more drunks and partiers, but they had good hearts. And Ace Frehley's laugh is just hilarious, man. That guy gets to laugh, and it just makes you laugh. I was also playing Riyadh, and I was a goalie. The other team said it looked like there was no head in the mask. Whoa! In my helmet, anyways. Sussmo. Where'd your head go? Have you seen that video where this lady has like a door cam or a 24-hour? The camera runs all the time. No, I think she said it was motion sensor. And this is here somewhere in America. I'll have to find the video. Maybe bring it one of the Fridays that we talk, do our show. And you see her porch, you see a cat sitting on the porch, and you see this little cat watching something up the street. I mean, it's watching something. And it plays, and then all of a sudden this guy comes in the frame, and then you realize he's got no head. And he gets to about where there's a car parked, and he just disappears. And everybody's saying it's fake, but she swears it's not fake. So where'd you lose your head at during the game there, girl? Are you a hockey fan? Out of curiosity, Al, are you a hockey fan? I still love hockey. Now our high school, the high school I graduated from up here, they now have a hockey team. I was like, what? I never learned how to ice skate. I know how to roller skate, but I never learned how to ice skate. Well, I never got on ice skates, but I would have for that. I'd have played high school hockey for sure. I was so pissed. Like, wait, you guys should have done this when I was still at school. We played on roller skates. That and stickball. What time is it, folks? Get quiet. 1:30. Where we at in the count? We got 5 people in the room. Thank you, 5 people, for hanging out. I'm glad you're enjoying the conversation. We're just shooting the crap right now. That's what it's all about after Gemma's replays. The Gene Simmons makeup made it look like that. Oh, it did. The hockey. I hate hockey. My parents used to drive me to every hockey game and practice. Oh, you poor thing. Boring out. Yeah, see, I'm that kid. I'll play the game. Probably there's only a couple games I won't play. But I played baseball. I played football. I got kicked off the high school football team for breaking somebody's face mask and breaking their nose. But that's a whole story in itself. But I played baseball, and then we played sports around the neighborhood. But I basically played baseball and basketball. Organized basketballs. It's if you're good, they'll play. If you're average, you might get the play. I was pretty much just an average player. But I've always liked hockey. But to watch those games, I mean, we'd get tickets to the Reds back in the day, and I would make it through a whole game. I'd be ready to go by halfway. Okay, I'm done. Let's go. And we'd get tickets to the Columbus Clippers here, the local team. I said, either you want to stay to the end of the game. If you want to stay to the end of the game, let's not go until like the second or third innings. So, because I get bored. Unless they're doing like White Castles night, say 25-cent White Castles. Sometimes they have 25-cent hot dog night too. I'll go then and eat hot dogs and White Castles. I was a mean gooey too. If slashers played cross the shin that stood in front of me, bad behavior back then. Oh yeah. Now they've got to tighten the belt on hockey. Every so often you get lucky. But to me, that's what it's a rowdy sport. That's like, was it rugby? Right? Is it rugby that they play with the football? I've never played that, but it looks insane. Yeah. That's probably the most aggressive sport right now. If I had played, I probably would have played as a goalie. I mean, when we played soccer, I always played goalie. I was pretty good about keeping the ball out of the net. But back then, there's still bad behavior now. What are you saying back then? Now it's just wussy behavior is what I call it. Oh, do you really? So we never played that here. Lacrosse is big here. In Ohio, lacrosse, up in Central Ohio, lacrosse is a big sport here. Rugby, it's like something you bring up and everybody goes, huh? Oh, okay. This is the guys wear the shirt. Run around with football. Play a weird game of football. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I never understood the rules behind that. And what's the other one? With the flat bat, whatever that, cricket, or whatever it is. Cricket, yeah, cricket. Cricket confuses the crap out of me. I sat and tried to watch it one day. I'm like, what the hell's going on? No, I had a short fury temper back. Oh, you were a Spitfire, huh? Yeah. I bet you still are. I put money on it. And a lot of people in this room that come in this chat are Spitfires. Vixen's one. And I don't know if we'll be back or not, but bless her heart, she's a Spitfire too. I know she's going through a lot right now. And she's a Spitfire. So you got it all runs. You guys are all the same. So you're right where you need to be, I guess. Yeah, I haven't been able to check out Paranormal Portal lately. Everything's been so crazy. I do catch him every once in a while and try to watch as much as I can. Or watch his replay. I've watched his replays. There's a couple of them I've been trying to keep caught up on. I like him. He's good. He does a solo show. I wish I could get my solo show as good as his. And he's got an act. And he knows what to do. My problem is I can't sit. Right now in my life, it's so hard to sit and really try to gather all my information because I have all kinds of research I could dig into and do a good show. But it's just time. I'm so busy trying to keep everything going here. But it's coming. That day's coming when I can do that. Golf does that to me, having to make perfect form just to hit the ball. I'd rather hit it like I do in hockey. Oh, for sure. My son, I played, that's one sport I did play in school, in high school. I played my junior year. I actually wasn't bad. I wasn't a bad golfer. It's just I was the poor golfer. All my clubs were used clubs. I mean, my mom and dad were just middle-class people, so they could only afford to give me what we could get. And I didn't do bad, but I got kicked off that team for smoking a cigarette on the 18th hole behind a tree. No biggie. The golf, I didn't mind playing it, but it was just not my thing. My son loves it. He goes quite a bit and plays. He went out and bought nice clubs. He works good jobs. He went out and bought him some nice clubs. During the COOF event, they were all into paintball because in paintball, you have to wear all that gear. So they left a lot of those places open so they would go play paintball. So he went and bought some really expensive paintball guns and stuff. And he just sold it all because he used all that money he sold with that to buy more new clubs. My brother was good at it too. We didn't have new clubs or anything. Yeah, we didn't have anything. A lot of mine were hand-me-downs from my uncle Jim, who was a Chillicothe police officer. He gave me a lot of his old clubs, and because dad was trying to learn how to play golf. And I tried out for the team, and he couldn't believe I made the team. I said, I couldn't believe I made the team either. Yeah. I wasn't a bad player. It just seemed tedious to me. But see, again, I was also at the time I was kickboxing. And what at the time here in Ohio is what they call challenge groups, where teams would schools would challenge each other and have like tournaments. I was really good at Taekwondo, pretended I was Mortal Kombat. Now you sound like me at first until I got my crap kicked out of me and said, you can't behave like that. I still think I do once in a while when I'm out there practicing Tai Chi. I pretend I'm one of my favorite characters. Oh, I like whatever his name is, the one with the spikes. Now I can't even think of his name. I got the game right here in front of me too. You play Mortal Kombat? I got the new one. I still haven't gotten the new season, the second half of the game that just came out a little bit ago. But I love my Mortal Kombat. And then me and Gemma play Fortnite. We play about an hour once in a while during the week, and every day we try to get an hour in before the kid comes home, and then maybe a little bit later with the kid, and then with her kid, and then we play on Sunday nights. But I love my Mortal Kombat. She's kicked my butt a couple times in that too, which kind of makes me mad because I think I'm actually not bad in Mortal Kombat. Yeah. See, now I'm touching the gambit. With any other subjects, we went from Gene Simmons to sports. Now Mortal Kombat and Taekwondo. When I first started martial arts, I practiced under Dr. Wu on OSU campus. And he always made us take 2 or 3 styles. And of course, we had to have like an art, and then you had to pick a weapon. I was the toughest out there, but I was tough to maintain eye contact, push forward and leave and stay, and fighting stance. The teacher had to tell me to open myself up to be hit. That was my teacher's philosophy. You gotta to understand the pain. You gotta feel it, and to understand inflicting pain, it doesn't hurt to feel it too. He was pretty much the same way. He was a no bars teacher for an old man. He passed, I believe. When I got kicked off that team for hitting a ref because he wasn't calling kidney punches. Sub-Zero, Sub-Zero is one of my favorite Scorpion, of course, the 2 main ones. But what's that, Cabal? Whatever his name is, I can never say his name anyways with the spikes that come out of his hands. I tear it up with him. Anyways, when I heard he passed, they said he was 102, but he wasn't teaching anymore. But he was in his late 60s when I got kicked off the team. And it wasn't like they kicked me off the team. They just suggested, hey, I kind of did a no-no. But they knew I had a right to do that no-no. But I still kept in contact with them all for years. I lost contact with him because I believe he went to stay with the relatives or family, one of his children, his last few years. Smart man. Good at what he did. And he was the most unassuming person you'd ever meet. His father was Chinese and his mother was Japanese. So I got a taste of both worlds. I love Japanese anyways. If pop goes and certain things go my way and certain things don't go my way, I am literally looking at property in Japan. You got a couple of people out there telling you not to go there, but I know people there. They say it's still great there. I always hated it when the person you were playing with would get you stuck on an end of the screen and they'd hit you until you were dead. Oh, I couldn't stand that too. I call it a crowd. What did he call it? We decided to call it was a wall crushing. Is when you just push them up against the wall and just start pounding on them, and you kind of get stuck there, and the person kind of gets stuck there. It sucks. That's why I always try to stay away from the ends. I used to do it to my son. He'd get so pissed. So you gotta learn that something, son. Come on, let's see those special moves. But it's got a bug. I told him it was a learning experience for him. But I like to stay out in the open. I use the stick and the buttons. I know some people just use the stick. Some people will only use the buttons. I use both, depending on what I'm trying to do. Oh, Halo? I only played the first Halo, and then I kind of got disappointed with Microsoft. So, and Xbox. I mean, we have an Xbox 360, and then he's got the new one. But I have all my PlayStations. I have my PlayStation 1. I have my PlayStation 2. I have my PlayStation 3. I have my PlayStation 4, and now the 5. The 5 I got lucky with because I accidentally won it. I couldn't believe I won, actually a disc one at that. But all those PlayStations still play great. They all play perfect. On the Xbox 360, I had to fix it twice because it kept getting the ring of death, and I wouldn't let it die. And then I just gave up. And they were scamming me out of money, and that kind of pissed me off. When I want to play on the legendary mode, I needed a challenge. Yeah, that's now you sound my son. I need a challenge. Got other players down with the energy sword. Shooting them was easy. Yeah, see, not my son. See, because of my issues, I could only, even then, I could only play for so long. And some shooter games, I find I'm noticing I'm having a little bit more difficulty playing Fortnite now. Only because it's my hand, the hand thing is getting kind of bad. But I couldn't play like Call of Duty or something because of the way it's done. There's a lot more flickering going on. And I'd last about a half hour before I would be like, Fortnite for some reason is not that bad. I can last maybe an hour and a half of playtime on there before I have to go. Now, when it comes to the fighting games, I'll play until I can't stand it anymore. But do you play Doom? I'm a Doom guy too. I have both of those, and working on the third. I like Doom. I'm a big Doom guy. No, you haven't played Doom. Oh, you would love Doom. Let me put it this way. Doom is a more aggressive version of Halo. Except you're fighting demons. Actually, the original first, was it 6 games on PlayStation 1 and 2 and 3, and I think there was one made for the GameCube. I think it was one of them. Oh, it was 360. One of them, not it was. I think it was a Nintendo system. They made one for the Nintendo system too at the time, and they were great games, you know. And then the new ones, man, you would definitely love the new ones. If you like Halo, you would love those. Just check it out. Yeah, they're great games. Is that it? Nope. Oops, sorry, that's Godzilla. Yeah, right here. This is the first one. I have the second one downloaded, which I didn't want to do, but it turned out my son has a copy too. I'd rather have a hard copy than download it because now they can take it from you. All they can take from your hard copy is just the extras you buy. You don't own a game anymore unless you actually own a hard copy. And I like hard copies in case the internet goes down. I got a generator. At least I can at least play games and watch movies. Though I haven't watched movies on the PS5 yet. Giles says plays movies great. Plays 4K. I watched a video not too long ago that was complete. The compilation of the fatalities in MK. One of them was being hit by an airliner and then sucked into the engine, took the plane down into the people screaming. Do you know which character that was? Because I watched a bunch of those too. Is this the new one from the new games? I know there's a whole new half out that I haven't gotten yet because I haven't finished the first half. Or the second. Yeah, there's not a 2. They just keep adding to 1. The redo at the moment. That'd be a cool kill. There's some great fatalities in those games, even in the beginnings. Oh, I bet it was crazy. There was a fatality in the DC Injustice ones where they kind of did the DC versus Mortal Kombat too, or they put some of those characters in there. But there's one in Injustice. They have fatalities in that. And it's great. It's Superman just beating the crap out of you. Tearing you to limb. I mean, it literally goes psycho. The fatalities is what you want. And they're so hard to get. Sometimes you got to be just perfect on those too. And I like in the new game, you also get brutalities. And some of the brutalities are awesome. And you can do that anytime during the game. I'll find it. I'll share it. Yeah, great. Please, because I want to check that out if you find it. You've sent me a bunch of stuff. Thanks. Oh, and by the way, thank you for the meme too. I'm going to have to show that to my son. He'll love that. What time we got here? 1:49. We'll take it to 2 and I'll call it a night. It's just 3 of us now. I don't know who else is watching, unless Rotro or somebody. Who's here with us? Please say something. Stand up and be careful. Give me one moment. I found it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll probably call it here soon. I think a lot of people know I usually call it by 2. So, not ready to do the all-nighters like I used to. Got too much to do. Tomorrow's still not gonna. Still, even if it rains, it's gonna be a busy day. I'll just work my butt off in the house. If you want, you can shut it down anytime. Oh yeah, it is just somebody else joined us. Hello, 4th person. We're just hanging out. I was gonna call that too. Is come in and talk, have a chat. We're talking about games right now. I was sending me stuff. She sent me a great meme too. Yeah, I laughed when you sent the salty one because I'm like, oh, she likes salty. If I'd known that, I'd have been sending you some of his older stuff. He's a hoot, man. And I like how he screwed, YouTube has tried to ban him so many times. And they try to shut him down. The salty sued him so many times, and now he makes some money. They just keep their mouth shut. Hey, Mayhem. Raining here? Yeah, is it raining there? Where you at, Mayhem? Is it? Because I'm in Ohio. I know it's supposed to start moving in soon. Thanks for the weather update, bud. I'm a weather guy too, by the way. I'm not an official weather guy, but I keep an eye on it. I like weather. What happens in the sky affects us too, more than people know. But we got wind advisory still going on here. Where's that sucker at? Are you in Indiana? Where you at? Indiana. As I say, you guys are getting slammed right now. Is it just now passing you, or you are in it now? I'm looking at the radar. Northern area, yeah, you're definitely getting it. Is it raining pretty good? I see a lot of red and yellow, a lot of green. And it's dark green, so that means heavy rain. Now? Yeah, is it? Yeah, I'm looking at the radar right now. Oh, yeah, I bet it is. We're supposed to get it around 3 or 4. It's coming our way. We need it. I know a lot of us in this area needs it. I just did yard work all day, man. It was like dry city. I'm sure you guys need it just as bad as us. I'm glad to see you, man. I'm having birthday. Yeah, how are you doing, man? Are you good? I always say man, so don't. If you're a woman, I'm sorry. And forgive me, I don't usually. I'm not one of those people try to figure out if you're a man or a woman. I just go with the flow. I had a heart attack and a quadruple bypass. Holy crap! Good. I'm glad you're doing good. That's what happened to my brother, my older brother. He had to have a bypass. The female. Okay. Oh, that's right. See, it just takes me time. People come and go. Sorry, sometimes people come and go, and it's like I lose track. I remember the names because I remembered your name. I just couldn't remember. I try not to let details through this chat, but I've gotten so close to so many people now. I want to make sure I get things right. You are doing good. Wow. That is good to hear. You stay strong, stay steady. It's a journey, I know. I haven't gone that far yet. I listen a lot. Depends on who's in the chat. I get it. I appreciate you hanging out. I always do. I appreciate anybody just hanging out and listening. That's what this is about. Just watch a couple of Gemmas upload. That's what Saturday night's about. Sit back, watch a couple of Gemmas older uploads. Chit chat. It's Wednesday nights, pretty much chat. I call it spooky time. I try to tell stories and try to keep it paranormal, but pretty much ends like it is now. Just everybody just talking and having a good time. Yeah, and then I get the point about who's in chat too, because I get a little selective when I go around and check out other chat rooms and other streamers because I'm kind of picky about who I go in with. Anymore, there's a lot of drama out there, especially amongst the paranormal community. Man, it is insane to see some of the drama that goes on. You go in their Discords, it's crazy. It's like, why are you guys fighting and being all goofy? I thought this was a community. You're supposed to all be working together and not arguing with each other or doing stupid stuff with each other. There are a few like that. Yeah, there are. Yeah, there are. I could start naming them, but I won't. The ones that at least I know. I go into one of their, the certain channel, I'm not going to say the name, Discord. Man, to hear these people flirt and talk and crazy stuff that goes on in there. But there's some also, if you're looking for research, some of these I only go into because I can get research stuff out, ideas for our research, or they can give me information. Some people in there can give you information that's harder to find or you can't get to. They'll get it for you. That's why I go to there. But the funny thing is, to the Discords I go into, I'm still using the original name that I used in them when I first joined them, like 8 years ago. So they don't know me as Ghost Dragon. I never told them, oh, I'm Ghost Dragon. So I go in there and they listen to gossip. It's insane. Especially if you go in the open chat, in the open mic. These people get talking. It's crazy. But paranormal channels right now, paranormal channels and these TikTok influencers, man, the drama that goes on over there too is crazy. Somebody was filling me in a while back, and I was like, holy crap. Why? And it's the same too, because, you wonder what you walk into. Like, SR does their Vegas thing. I've heard some stories come out of that too. Spaced Out Radio. I still talk to people that still mess with them, but it's been a while. And it's probably been a year since I've had contact with anybody still associated with them. Yeah, at least a year. Now and then I see them pop in, or they'll leave a comment on your Facebook page or something. Post. The Don't Whistle at Night podcast is good. Navajo dudes run it. That's like Nighthawk. He runs a really good channel. And he gets deep into it though. I'll have to check that out. I'll remember that name. I like that name. Don't Whistle at the Night. Don't Whistle at Night. Edda tells me that all the time. Used to tell me that all the time. She knew I'd do it. I've done it. I can't whistle. It wasn't much of a whistle. Then she got mad when I went out and told her a story about how something was actually calling us. And I actually went out looking for it, trying to talk back to it. And he was like, you don't do that stuff. Why not? You don't get answers if you stand there and shaking your boots. You got to go get your answers. They live off of fear. Don't show fear. You're listening to the stories. Oh, yeah. Now I'm going to play next week. I will, for anybody that watches replays. I know some people actually watch the whole replay, and I really appreciate that. Next week I'll do 3 and 4 of Halloween nights. By then, I think she should be starting. Well, she'll start them next week. This week, I think. The 7 nights. Yeah, she'll start toward the end of the week. That way they can correlog with each other, and you have a couple nights of those. We want it, and by the way, folks, her email is in the description for folks to also listen to later. Folks, she loves listener encounter. We love listener encounters. So if you got encounters, you got great stories, send them to her. She may offer to even put it in books or something, because she's already getting ready to do another one. She just finished one, and she's already looking at doing another one. Everyone in the affirmation say don't whistle. Yeah, they do. Everybody will tell you that. I've still got grandparents. Well, I had grandparents, but I still have relatives that will still tell you that. Don't do it. Don't you do it. And don't ever answer back. Hard not to show fear when you're being carried off by a giant owl or whatever else. Right there. Come on, take me away. That's a little different situation. If it comes at me and it's bigger than me, yeah, I'm probably gonna run. But at least I'll know what it is that I'm fighting. They say that about the Northern Lights. Don't whistle at them or they come down and take you away. Oh, really? Interesting. I never heard that. Is that an Indian saying up there? And I bet you're seeing some really good ones right now because the sun has been super active. So I bet you're seeing some really good auroras. Kentucky is ground zero for Fae. No, I totally agree with you there, Chris. A lot of my relatives are from the Kentucky Appalachians. And that's a lot of their stories are Fae stories. A lot of them are. The little people. They talked a lot about little people. I had a cousin used to tell me stories about them watching the little people and staying away from them. Have you ever heard those giant owls? Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, I have seen them. I've never heard one. Some stand 6. Oh, yeah, they're huge. Yes, they are, Robbie. They said that I'm sure other tribes probably do too. I'm sure that. I've gotten bombed, dived by owl, broad daylight. Oh, that wouldn't surprise me. What was this? We were somewhere down south. I think it was in Logan. And at one of the old cabins a friend had. I have a friend that has cabins down there. And when he first bought the property, some of the cabins needed renovating. And he went in there. He said, this big old white barn owl just came tearing at him. He was like, holy crap. He didn't want to hurt him. So they just left the door open and waited for him to leave on his own. Man, any of those birds of prey, man, their talons are wicked stuff, man. Raptor talons. More Bigfoot sightings in Kentucky than you can count. Dating back. Oh, that I did know too. One guy and his sister saw northern lights morph into an eagle, then return back to normal lights at a powwow in Saskatchewan years ago. That wouldn't surprise me. I've heard some, I haven't heard, but I've read some amazing stories about the Northern Lights and them doing strange stuff. Silly owl. Huh? He was huge, kept circling the car. Then, whoa. Yeah, the biggest thing that we had one summer, for some weird reason, the little brown bats, it was about mid-spring. Man, we don't know if they could have been rabid. One kid did get bit and had to have rabies shots, but they couldn't catch any, test them for rabies. And then the next year, we had no bats at all. So they all must have died or whatever. And then they started slowly coming back again. So I know they test them now a little more. They've been testing the bats around here. Yeah, I'm guessing if they're doing that, if the owl's doing that, there's probably a nest. Probably had young. They're pretty territorial too. Been told so many times that the owl is my spirit. I actually know that an owl is. I had to do some digging and dive. My Chinese zodiac is rabbit, but my spirit animal is an owl. I was shocked. I wanted it to be a salamander or a newt or something because I love those little guys. And toads. But nope, it's an owl. They dive at women. It's suspected that the ponytails make them think it's a squirrel. Oh, that makes sense, Al. That totally makes sense. I never even thought about that. We had them bad. One got the house. My husband was so sad. So it's they squirrels, anything that gets in your house, pain. We had coons in our chimney once. They were fight to get out. And Mama was huge, so we don't even know how she didn't get stuck in there. It's been that way for me too. Filter is another. I love amphibians, and the water and land creatures, the small ones. And I've always had a fascination with newts, salamanders. I have fire belly toads. I don't mind the big toads, but I like the dart toads and stuff like that. Something about them, the smaller toads fascinate me. And they're a perfect example. Once they start dying off, you better start worrying. Because they are literally gauges of an environment. All those animals are, most especially amphibians. But then you see pictures of them diving at deer with antlers. Oh, I've seen pictures like that. There's a picture, I don't know what it was. It was huge. And I don't know if all I could see, it was like in dark. It might have been a moose because it's in the background, but you see this owl just going face first at it. I was like, holy crap. Scared. Yeah, it's not good when you have that stuff in your house. Yeah, I had friends that owned raccoons. I had a friend that owned a raccoon, Komodo dragon. Had a guy that owned a couple skunks. They were just like cats. I bought a walking stick from home, produced from produce department. There you go. I have one I want to go get. I found one I like. It's nice to have a walking stick, a good one, good solid one. It might be for chaos. Yes, it usually is the moment for. Yeah, as a kid, it's amazing. It always, when we were kids, man, it was a big deal to find that perfect stick. You carried when you found it, you carried it until either you broke it or somebody took it. And Tony, I know, none. Skunks make wonderful beds, very clean. Yeah, that's what I heard. That they were great animals when we'd go over. Kids loved them. I think that was before Giles. Yeah, I don't think Giles ever met those people. But yeah, they were just like cats. Oh, the Malazan eagle owl. Those things are bad. Pardon my mouth. Yeah, they do have character. Yeah, they do. That'd be great to own one. But I bet they're like a big dog. They'd probably eat you out of house and home. I had a buddy, but I never got to see it. When he moved out, where did he move? New Mexico? I think it was New Mexico. He went and bought a falcon. And he's a falconer now. I was like, well, that's cool. So he got trained, and then he learned how to train the bird. It was pretty well. He said he paid some big bucks. I'm like, damn, I guess. Raccoons love cat food. Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. Oh, have you seen the video where the cops go down in this basement? It looked like a big open basement. I mean, this place was huge. At first, I thought maybe it was a parking garage. And you should have seen there were thousands upon thousands of cats. I have never in my entire life seen so many cats in one room. I mean, it was like endless. Even the cop was like, holy crap. I like the pygmy house here. Oh yeah, we have those guys are cool too, Chris. I mean, yes, they are. Up here around us, the main owls you see are like the mid-sized barn owls, white owls. But the screech owls in this area are really thick. There are screech owls everywhere around here. And I love those little guys because I actually had one when I was married. We had one in our front tree, and when we cut it down, we didn't know it was in there. My mama flew away, and we found the chick. And so we got to, keep it, take care of it for a while. They set everything up on a new tree for it. And that's what my love house came from right that day. He was so cute, and to listen to him talk. No, they are people who own them in the area. They are not huge. Oh, they're not huge? I thought they're the big ones. Now I look stupid. Second is the northern saw-that wet owls. They're awesome. They're little tiny things. We still have a bear running around. Do you guys still have that bear? Really? That's wild. Somebody said that they spotted one. Was it in Athens? It had to have been Athens. But that was like weeks ago. And it was just somebody I was talking to. Said they were warning people that there was a bear up around the east side of campus. I'm like, holy crap. But they're going where the food's at. The screech owls, yeah, it's great. I mean, I bet if I go out there and sit out there now, you could probably hear them talking in the cemetery because it's a really heavy wooded cemetery. And then it's nothing but woods behind that, then the river. There are reinduced bears in Ohio about 8 years. Oh, did they really? I didn't know that, Chris. I didn't know that. I like hearing stories of giant owls, though. Science hasn't caught up with them yet, or their spirit of the kind. Actually, there's supposed to be this huge owl. I mean, it's like huge. And where did I see that at? And I'd never seen one or heard of it before. I saw it in a video. At first, I thought it was AI. I had to watch it a couple times. But the thing was huge. I'd never seen an owl that big. I thought that's what you were talking about because I didn't even know the name of it. And I've gone back to try to find the video so I could try to figure out the name of the bird. Yeah, plus I had a tiny population in the southern areas. Yeah, I knew there was a small population of the smaller. It was a smaller version of the black bear because they were smaller. But then again, they're mating now, so brown bears. Yeah, I know they have wolves now. No wolves. But the coyotes, there are people I've heard down south mating coyotes with huskies. Because my dog, Blue, was a husky coyote hybrid. That dog loved to run. You could not fence that dog in. You couldn't keep it on chain. It needed to be free, so we had to give it. We gave her to a family that moved to Florida, had a lot of property, and she ended up having pups. And she said they sold the pups for mega money. So because they mated it with another husky, and she said the pups were gorgeous, but they weren't as tall and long and lanky as Blue was. She had one blue eye and one brown eye. Oh, is that what they're going? Yeah, I know there are out east. I didn't know they had come over yet. I know the coyote population is growing here. I'm gonna let the wolves come back in and push the coyotes out. I don't mind wolves. As long as they stay where they need to be. Plus, they're majestic animals. Actually, coyotes, people crap on coyotes, but there are more there's a lot more to a coyote than people I think understand. Oh, we're at 2:15. So, huskies. Oh, really? Huskies are interesting dogs to keep, and they have some character. Ooh, I mean, Blue being a half breed, she did have character, that was for sure. Oh, really? That kind of makes sense. That does kind of make sense. Oh, yeah. Oh, all animals have good. I don't think people give the animal world enough credit to realize that they have souls and they have characters, and they're a lot smarter than we think. Even the smallest of them. My brother had a wolf. They made him get rid of it. That's like a buddy of mine had a Komodo dragon down in Logan, and they made him get rid of it. Not only because it was eating cats. We had to keep it in a cage in a backyard. First, he didn't keep it in a cage because it was just like a big dog. I mean, this thing was cool as hell. I mean, you couldn't touch his mouth or anything. You'd get sick. But it was cool. You had to wear big gloves around him. But that thing was awesome. He was like a dog. You throw a toy, he'd chase it and bring it back to you. But neighbor's cats. He lived on a big property, but the farmer up the street had barn cats and stuff like that, and they started disappearing because they'd wander into his yard, and the Komodo he'd find pieces of cat everywhere. It's not funny, but I mean, and then he put him in, and to please the farmer, he put him in a cage with a top on, and he started getting the dragon, because he had free roam, started getting depressed. So he took the cage down and told me he wasn't going to keep in there because he was getting old by that time. And they say no, they come knock on the door, you got to get rid of him. And they actually put him down. They didn't even let him get rid of him. They took him out. He's gone for good. Ate your kitties? Oh man, that's messed up. Not funny if I'd been pissed if he ate my kitties. Wolves are interesting because they do make interesting pets. Basically wolves and coyotes were man's first dogs. So people don't stop to think about that either. In a lot of ways they were. So they can get, if you're the loyalty between the animal, any animal and a human is amazing. I've seen footage of cats and dogs saving people big time, and kids. All right, folks, I hate to do this, but I think I'm going to go ahead and call it. I'm getting tired. I got to get up in the morning. So I'm going to go ahead and call it. What a great night. Thanks for hanging out with me, conversing. I would stay a little longer, but I need to get moving. My tummy's growling too. Plus, I'm about ready to go to the bathroom and stretch. Much love to you all. You guys have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Have a wonderful Sunday. I believe I think she has a video coming out Tuesday. If she had it up yet, I'd put it up, of course. And I may be here Wednesday. I don't know if we're streaming Friday. Either way, I may be here Wednesday. I'll probably be here in about 11 if I do stream Wednesday. Which I probably will. I kind of miss when I don't do it. So I know they're shorter than these some nights, but I'm trying to get caught up so I can make my long nights, long Gabby nights, because I kind of missed those nights where we were going to 2 or 3 o'clock, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So you guys have a wonderful one. Much love to you all. Please have a wonderful Sunday. Thank everybody for coming in the chat. Mayhem, Al, Latro, Chris, thank you so much. Vixen, bless your heart. Who else came in? I know there was other people that came in. I thought I was. Latro, that was pretty much it, which is fine. I know a lot of people come in and just kind of hang out. But I want everybody to have a good weekend. Folks, if you watch the replay, thank you so much, even if it's a little bit of it. Please have a wonderful one. And have a good start to your week. And I'll either see you Tuesday or Wednesday. Have a good one. Peace out. Much love. Thanks for hanging. And please remember to hit that like button. And if you're new, subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys on the flip side. Peace out.